and welcome to Friday Flow. I'm Pam Reid, author of New Lenses, founder of Flow, Feel Love Over Worry. Thank you so much for being here with me to kick off this amazing weekend. I hope you enjoyed your Memorial Weekend. I hope you enjoyed all the wonderful graduation celebrations. I know I did. It was kind of different, it being all virtual, but it was fantastic to say the least. You know, God did some amazing things this week, and I am just thrilled to engage with you in conversation. So, as always, please give me feedback. Please ask questions. If you feel led, please share as well. But, you know, one of the things that I have heard quite often, as late as even this past week, is that Christians should not get angry. I mean, I've actually heard people say, she's a Christian. She calls herself a Christian, and she's, angry at this person, or she's angry because of this thing or that thing. And the truth of the matter is, being angry is not a sin. I mean, God created all of us, right? He made us human. He gave us feelings and emotions. And he's never said anywhere in his word that we're not to be angry. Instead, he gives us all kinds of guidance and wisdom to draw from and how to manage anger and to deal with anger. And I want to share some of that with you today. I want you to be able to carry it with you through the weekend and beyond. But really, I want to be able to share with you at the end what happened to me this week and how I was able to overcome it. So here it is. Anger is not a sin. Anger is something that we all feel. It shows up at any given time in our lives. And here's the thing, when anger shows up, it actually provides an opportunity. So here it is. God gives us some guidance and some direction. And he starts with this. And I'm going to look at my notes because I've got some amazing scriptures for you. So in Ephesians 4:26, he says, "In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you're still angry, and do not give the devil or the enemy a foothold." So here it is. His first bit of wisdom to draw from is in your anger, right? He acknowledges that you're going to be angry at times. So in your anger, he says, don't sin. Don't give the enemy a foothold. And if you're not so sure what that means, it's like this. So if you're angry about something and you let your anger grow and fester and you open this door, you could say some things or perhaps do some things in your anger that you can't take back, that you can't redo, right? And so you're opening the door for just further stress and dissension and other things because you're operating out of anger and not out of love. So he's saying, in your anger, don't sin. And then he goes on to say, and don't let the sun go down on your anger. In other words, being angry is just for a time, just for a time. There's another version of that same scripture that says, if you become angry, don't let your anger lead you into sin, and don't stay angry all day. So that's the first thing he says. Here's the second. It's in James 1:9. He says, my dear brothers and sisters, take note. Everyone, and he means everyone, right? It doesn't matter. Your ethnicity, your race, your economic status. He says everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. So that's the second bit of wisdom that he gives us, right? So first he says, yeah, you're going to be angry. And being angry is not a sin. But if you're going to be angry, right, I don't want you to open the way for sin. I certainly don't want you to stay there long. And if you're going to get angry, let's be slow to anger. You know, sometimes we can go from 0 to 60 like that, or 0 to 180. But he's saying, be slow to anger, because quite possibly in that progression, as you're slowly getting angry, maybe there'll come a point in time where you'll gain a better understanding of the situation or the dynamic or the circumstances, and maybe you won't get to that 60 mile an hour mark. Be slow to anger. Okay. Then he goes on with Proverbs 15:1. He says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. I love this, right? So that's my flow, right? My feel love over wrath. Wrath is anger. And he says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. I can tell you firsthand without a shadow of a doubt that that is absolutely 100% true. I've got hundreds of examples of that, but I want to share with you just a couple. The first one is when I was working at Deloitte, one of my colleagues called me and said, Pam, I've got this client. She is so upset. She's irate. She's angry. She's yelling. She's not listening to a word I'm saying. So I asked my colleagues some questions. I got a better understanding of what was going on. And at the end, I said to him, well, what would you like me to do? How can I help? And he said, I need you to talk to her. And I agreed. And I remember this so clearly. I get off the elevator and I'm walking down the hallway to this conference room. And the conference room is straight ahead. The walls at Deloitte were made of glass. And I'm walking. And as I'm walking down this hallway, I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to say to this person? What am I going to say? And I was never filled with anxiety. I was never worried. I opened the glass door to this conference room and right out the gate, and who are you? And she just goes in and she starts just vomiting and regurgitating and just, oh, she wouldn't stop. And I sat and I listened and I listened. And when she had kind of settled down and she was done, I said to her, I said, may I answer your first question? And I could tell by the look on her face, she didn't even remember her first question. So I said, I'm Pam Reid. And I went on to share with her who I am and what I do for the company. And we got to talking, and one thing led to another. It was just amazing. Her whole countenance changed. Her body language changed. All was well. And here's the bottom line. It was a misunderstanding. And so sometimes through love, you can get to that place of understanding. And so that was the first example. The second one, I love this one, right? So just about 12 years ago, there was a community person who was just pissed off at me. Oh my gosh, she was pissed off at me. And I could tell. I mean, I can tell by all the things that she was saying, all the things that she was doing, and that she was just so angry with me, right? And here's the thing. I asked her if she would meet with me. I asked her if she would meet me in a coffee shop, a local coffee shop. And I was so surprised when she agreed. When I got to the coffee shop, I could see through the glass of the coffee shop that she was pissed off still. I mean, her body language was like this. She had her arms across her chest. She had her lips like really tight. And I walked through the door and I opened the door and I felt such compassion for her and such love for her. Why, you say? Because that's just not a good feeling. It doesn't feel good to be angry like that. It's exhausting. And I felt a great deal of compassion. I'm getting emotional as I say this. So I walk in, and clearly she wasn't going to say anything to me. I mean, her lips were tight. And so I sat down and I said to her, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I hurt you. And instantly, she went like this. As if just she softened, her face softened, her body language softened. And we talked and we talked. And guess what? There was a misunderstanding. And once it all became clear, she said to me after she apologized, she said, why did you apologize to me? You had nothing to do with this thing that I thought, because I saw this and I saw that. And I said, because you were hurt and you felt like I hurt you. And I got to tell you, to this day, we are very, very good friends. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that Proverbs 15:1 that says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. It's supported by Romans 12:9, which says, love must be sincere. Love must be sincere. You can't be out there talking about, oh, let me go ahead and apologize to this person so we can move on. Or let me go ahead and say I'm sorry so we can just not be dealing with this anymore. No, it doesn't work like that. See, that's a promise. A gentle answer turns away wrath. That is 100% true when it's sincere, when it's genuine, when it's loving, when it's sincere. That's where the power is. You've got to know it and you got to mean it. Okay, so here we have anger, right? God says in your anger, or if you become angry, right? He doesn't want you to stay there. He doesn't want you to open the door to sin. He wants you to be slow to anger. And he wants you to use gentle words in anger. And so here's the last scripture that I want to give you about anger. He says, it's 37, Psalm 37:8. It says, don't give in to worry or wrath. Is that not flow? Feel love over worry, feel love over wrath. Don't give in to worry or wrath. It only leads to trouble. Okay, so just like the crucifix is a reminder to me of the sacrifice Jesus made, flow is a reminder to me to stay engaged with God, to stay in his presence, to immerse myself in his scripture, to keep my eyes on him. That's what flow is for me. And so why did I choose on this Friday flow, to share with you some messages and some scriptures around wrath? It's because of the anger that I was dealing with this week. And I'm choosing to share it with you at the end because we're at the end, right? I'm choosing to share it with you at the end because I really don't want the message, God's message of how to respond to anger or how to navigate when you're feeling angry. I don't want that to get lost on anyone because anger shows up in our lives. And like I said, it provides an opportunity. It provides an opportunity to grow, to learn, and clearly to understand when there's misunderstandings. But most importantly, there's an opportunity to love. And so here's the thing for me this past week. I was dealing with anger in the wake of the death of George Floyd. And I got to tell you, I went through a series of emotions. First, I was grieving. I mean, I was crying like it was my husband or my son or my brother or my neighbor or anyone that I love or care about. I was just devastated. And for some reason, it felt familiar. And I had to ask, why does this feel so familiar? Well, it reminded me a little bit of September 11th. You know, for those of you who know my story, thousands of people died September 11th, but the similarity is just the worst of humanity, right? Just the worst and the travesty but then I got angry. I got really, really angry. And in my anger, I started texting and doing messages and all this stuff. And then I heard myself say, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And right when I said, what am I going to do? That's when God said to me, you're going to flow. You're going to feel love. You're going to feel me. You're going to engage with me. You're going to put your eyes back on me. You're going to spend your time with me. And you're going to think about me and not about this. It was so powerful for me because I had become consumed. And I realized something in my anger, that nothing I was going to say in anger and nothing I was going to do in anger was even going to be heard or experienced in the way that I would have liked. Because in anger, that's all you're going to hear. You're going to hear my anger through my words. You're going to feel my anger through my actions. Nothing good was going to come of that. And then you know what else I learned? This is going to take divine intervention and my obedience. See, each of us are called to do something with his direction, his intervention, his direction, and then we're obedient. And then that's when change can really happen. Just like the gentleman that had to deal with the woman in Central Park that called the police and just told lies about what was going on in that situation. When it was all said and done and and Miss Cooper lost her job, Mr. Cooper said, and Mr. Cooper and Miss Cooper were not related. Mr. Cooper, the African American man, said, I didn't expect her to lose her job. I didn't really want her to lose her job. I don't know that her losing her job is going to solve anything. Well, I can tell you what, me acting out of anger was not going to solve anything. It was only going to contribute in muddy waters and get people riled up, but it was just not good. And so today, I'm not angry. Today, I'm a little frustrated and disappointed because I'm human. And God is working with me on that too, helping me to flow. And I so hope that this message today, and thank you for your comments, that maybe it's something that will matter to you because maybe you're someone who is quick to anger. Maybe you go from 0 to 60 real quick. And maybe it doesn't have to do with a person or a situation or a present circumstance. Maybe it has to do with something you've been carrying for a long time and it manifests itself in different ways, like anger. But whatever it is, you've got to know that nothing good comes of it. But everything good, every good thing comes from God. I want to thank you so much for just joining me and being faithful and supporting me. I want to thank you for flowing with me and for being here. I want you to know that I love you, and I am so looking forward to seeing you again next week where we can flow together. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe and have fun.